Wow. There we go again, folks. It is that time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another episode of the Paranormal Portal, and I'll be your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us as we dive into yet again another 2-hour fun fest of the weird and unusual, or the show, either one, whatever you like. Hope you guys had a great week. Welcome to the weekend. It got kind of cold here. It's just suddenly went down about 20 degrees. So that's all right. It's kind of still springy, not quite summery. So I guess you got to leave that possibility. But the good news, folks, is you don't have to just listen to my aimless ramblings for 2 hours. You can listen to Sheldon's as well.
Thank God.
Thank God. Yes, because joining me tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is the big branch of my personal family tree as well, Mr. Sheldon Thomas. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Spoilers to Rumble. They knew I was here before I even showed up.
Really?
Yes.
How'd they know?
It was showing as the music was going on. I was just doing this in the background. I open up Rumble and I'm just there going,
I know.
I'm just like, why am I showing up?
Because I put you up there because you were dancing. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. So just an impromptu little screen grab. Just let everybody see how excited we are to do the shows and how excited you were specifically.
That's right. Got to make my faces, got to make my dances, showing my excitement for the paranormal.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm trying to clean this up a little bit. Some of it I did ahead of time and some of it I didn't. And so I'm just trying to catch up here.
There's always something, guys. There's always something.
Always something, eh? Summit.
Yeah.
There we go. Just getting you all positioned in there so our heads are about the same size.
But I got a bigger head.
Yeah, you probably do, actually. I got kind of like an alien head, you know, like from the aliens with the chest bursters. Like I got a long head. yours is like a block. You've got this really geometric head. I mean, it's.
You have a brick in my head.
No, I didn't say that. You're a brilliant young man, but you do have a very symmetrical head. So very good. I don't know what's your hat size. Do you know? Do you ever wear hats? I don't know.
I don't wear hats.
Okay. I'm just asking. All right. Just throwing it out there. Just was curious.
I should have put a hat on. It was raining. Ooh, it was raining hard.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, raining, thundering, but I love that thunder. Ooh, that rumble. Ooh.
You know, that's the one thing about living here. Not that anybody cares, but I'm going to, since I get a microphone, I get to do whatever I want. That I miss those thunderstorms. We get them every once in a great while up here, but I missed watching those rumbling storms blow through. I don't know. I've always enjoyed it. I was one of those people, ladies and gentlemen, that when the big thunderstorms came, I would sit on my front porch and just watch them. I just find them fascinating and amazing. I mean, there were times where I was like, okay, time to go in, where it gets really intense. And it's like, okay, well, this isn't a spectator sport anymore. This is kind of nerve wracking. So, but generally speaking, I just watch them blow through. I love thunderstorms. Yeah.
Oh, they're so nice.
Princess Lion says, yes, love thunderstorms. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Oh, is Portal Mom in here?
Yes, she is.
Aw, good to see you, Portal Mom. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Nina.
Love you, Mom. Hope you're doing good. I was thinking you'd be here tonight, too. That's great that you are. Again, ladies and gentlemen, prayers to our own Deb Varner. She is still wrestling with, she went through a second surgery, apparently, and to get everything hopefully tied up. I haven't heard any updates, but send her your love. She had a burst appendix and has been in the hospital for about a week now. And I guess, I mean, she's okay, all things considered, but she's had a hell of a run. And so send her all your healing energy, all your love, all your prayers, that she bounces back real soon. We certainly love you, Deb, if you're out there listening, and hopefully you come back stronger than ever. God, it's a scary thing. I had a burst appendix once too, and that's absolutely terrifying. It didn't feel like you keep hearing like, oh, you get this real sharp pain in your right side. Well, that's not what I had at all. I had a whole band of pain around my whole midsection. So I didn't know what it was. I mean, front and back. It was like this like I had a tube of pain around my waist, and it was just really nondescript. But after the high fever set in, I was like, well, better go to the hospital, and so I did.
Sure,
and
that wasn't just caused from your belly.
I just for the record, I got a lot less belly now than I used to have.
I know.
A lot less. I mean, okay, so again, this is stupid stuff, and I'm sure I'm going to get some hate messages on YouTube like, God, when are you going to get to the paranormal? All right, just bear with me, because we are a community here. If you're new to the show, this is a community. We've been together for years, and these people probably know a lot of things about me that they probably didn't intend to ever know, but I told them anyway. So it's kind of like getting together at the family table every time we do a show. So just bear with us. We'll get to the paranormal and all the creepy stuff later. But where the hell was I? Oh, I've lost about 70 pounds or so, 70, 75 pounds now. And I'm actually wearing 38 waist again.
Ooh.
I know, right? It was like, God, it's been a lot of years. It's been a lot of years. I was in 36 waist since I was a teenager, and then I went up to 38, and then I went more, and then I went more again. It was like, God, so I'm actually back, bouncing back. So feeling good about that, actually. Very good. And I can actually pull off an XL shirt now if I want to. I like the double XLs still, because they're more comfortable, but yeah.
They are. I like the bagginess. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, that's enough about me and patting myself on the back. Thank you for all the love that I'm getting in the chat. Appreciate it. It just comes along.
Speaking of an aurora borealis.
Who was speaking of aurora borealis? All right.
Background.
All right, go ahead.
Did you guys get? Did you and also the community? Did you guys get to see all those beautiful colors and those beautiful dancing lights in the sky? Oh my God.
Yes.
It was beautiful. I don't even know if this will show up, but I'm going to try and show it here. I got some pictures of it, and oh my God. Oh, I see. It's I see. It's not picking it up. Okay.
I was like, wow, it's a movie. No, wait, it's your background.
Okay, never mind. All right, cancel that. But I'm gonna put some pictures in the Discord after the show, because it was so beautiful, and I hope you guys got a chance as well.
Yeah, I think the aurora borealis is, I mean, there's a scientific explanation for it, of course, that it's, this solar radiation hit the atmosphere and it's the geomagnetics and such interacting with
Yeah.
that solar radiation, whatever. But I do believe there's a spiritual element to it. I know that the Inuit people and many First Nations felt that they were a very mystical experience as well, and I think there's merit to that. I think that we oftentimes forget that we are very integral parts of this earth, even though we live largely separate from it. We live on the earth, but we don't really live with the earth anymore, but our ancestors did. And things like, I worked in corrections for well over a decade, probably, I think 15 or 17 years now. Anyway, I'm here to tell you things like full moons, they do affect people. They do affect people. In fact, it was the mantra every month. Careful out there tonight, guys. It's a full moon. It's like, yep. And 9 times out of 10, full moons would bring out the weirdness. And there's a reason that they call people that are crazy lunatics. Luna meaning lunar. And yeah, I mean, there is a correlation to us and our environment. And I think that I don't pretend to know what the aurora borealis has an effect on us in spiritual terms, but some people think it's, energetic upgrades. Some people think it's, that they can come and take you away into another realm. And I mean, there's a whole host of ideas, but I do think that we are a part of the world, and the earth and the natural order of things. And these natural events do influence us. So, but I've seen Northern Lights. In fact, when I was living in Michigan for a period of time in a town called Lapeer, my cousin Paul and I were out, and we were just kind of sitting with, I think we had a 12-pack of beer, and this is way back in the day, so we were sitting in this field next to a pond out in the middle of nowhere and just sitting looking up at the sky, and the Northern Lights started. And I'm here to tell you, this was the most spectacular thing in the night sky that I've ever seen, except for the UFO that I saw. But it was like the colors kept intensifying and intensifying and intensifying until the whole dome of the night sky was this pulsating colors. And there was like an iris in the middle, like a break in the middle right above us. And in that, my cousin and I both witnessed this. There was like this glowing figure looking at us. And I don't know, just looking down. But we could see it. I couldn't say it was looking at us specifically, but it was like the gate to the to heaven was opening a little. And up there was just some celestial being looking down upon the earth. And it was just this amazing event. And we were both just mesmerized, and it lasted. I mean, the Northern Lights that night lasted longer than we did, but that pinnacle moment lasted for probably 15 or 20 minutes. And we were just both just like, oh my God, are you seeing this? Yes, I'm seeing this. And I'm so glad he was there with me. And I was there with him, because it was like one of those events that afterwards you'd be like, is that really what I saw? But that's what we saw. I mean, it was just incredible.
Wow.
So true story. But I think the aurora borealis is an incredibly powerful event. I don't pretend to understand it. I don't have any ideas of what it's supposed to do, or, I've heard a few legends and ideas, but I don't know if they're right or not. But I do know that we are a part of the natural world around us, and the natural world around us does influence us to some degree, or maybe help us, maybe hinder us. I don't know. It depends on the situations, but that's just kind of a side take. Very cool. Thank you, Maggie, for putting the link up there. For the email, of course. Let's see. I guess, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, now that I'm done flapping my lips about stuff, is it the lights coming from the inner earth? I don't know. Perhaps there's something to do with core mechanics or inner earth mechanics and the atmosphere around us. That maybe
the sun.
Well, surely there's solar winds and stuff that come from ejections from the sun, and solar storms on the surface of the sun. They eject this highly charged particles and towards the earth, and as they hit the Earth's atmosphere, they do create these lights. But Perhaps there's an interaction between that and inner Earth too, and outer Earth. I don't know. I mean, again, it's possible. Anything's possible. With any of this stuff, we just don't know. We have no idea what's going on for sure. I mean, our sciences can explain, look, this is how these are created. And I know the Navy ages back did tests where they would launch things up into the outer atmosphere that would detonate, whether they were nuclear or whatever. But they would also create the northern lights. So that's through testing and stuff, they can ascertain that there is a interaction between our atmosphere and highly charged particles hitting it, creating those aurora borealis. But is there a spirit to it? Is there an intelligence to it? Is there a consciousness to it? Well, I believe there's a consciousness to everything. So, But anyway, I'm spiderwebbing all into the way woo-wee out there. So I apologize, but the Northern Lights are after God eats too much Taco Bell.
Diarrhea we see in the sky.
That's a shoulder ejection for sure.
Why is it always back to poop? Why?
I don't know. I didn't bring it there this time. I'm just saying. All right.
Who's goes back to poop and butts? God. Every time.
It's because I'm very childish, I guess. It's probably the closest reason. We're going to get to the news, ladies and gentlemen, where we cover some things in the news are paranormal. Some of them are just exciting and weird and odd and wonderful and interesting. And after that, we're going to get into more stuff and then more stuff after that. And then we'll get to the cryptid corner to wrap it up. So.
Wow.
I don't know about you, but it's there's a lot on deck tonight. So
I like it.
I'm trying to actually recover the show so we can aim it now that we've been everywhere else in all this randomness. All right, I had to wet the whistle.
That's right.
All right, you ready to go, Sheldon? You ready for some news?
I always am.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to news you up. We're going to inform you as well as we can, entertain you, and hopefully you leave knowing something you didn't know before. So I guess it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the news. Kind of interesting. Sam C says, for myself on LSD, I seen more of kind of like a web throughout the sky to the earth and different experiences within earth. Mushrooms didn't do so much for me, but it's done so much for others. Huh. Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean,
Well,
what? Well, what?
spiderwebs, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe those drugs open up something in you, and maybe you're seeing ley lines. Who knows?
Yeah, I think so. I think there is altered states, the shamanic traditions in the world oftentimes use substances such as hallucinogens and stuff like that, and peyote and psychedelic mushrooms and other substances like that, ayahuasca. Things that alter your perception but are believed to raise your vibration or bring you to a alternating vibration and more clarity where we can receive messages. And so, yeah, I mean, I know that some people think, well, you took ayahuasca and you saw clockwork gnomes. Okay, well, what else is going on? But those things could be perceptions of alternate realities. The interesting thing with stuff like that is like just these clockwork gnomes, for instance. The interesting thing isn't what that people have seen these clockwork gnomes. The interesting things is that disparate people from disparate lifestyles, disparate regions of the earth, under the influence of ayahuasca, see these clockwork gnomes. And why would they all experience the same hallucination? And so does that imply there's an intelligence there, that it is actually changing our ability to see into a reality that we wouldn't normally see, and possibly by activating the pineal gland, possibly by, frequency, vibration, and energy, or whatever you may call it, or all of the above. But The interesting thing is that so many people have the same hallucinations, quote unquote hallucinations. I'm not meaning to dismiss that, but that is the curiosity.
Yeah.
Because if it's just the musing of an influenced mind, it would often, I would think it would draw from our own experience. Well, everybody's got different experiences, so they may see different representations of their own psyche. But apparently everybody sees these clockwork gnomes, or most people do. I don't know. But interestingly enough, that's a common feedback. So it is said that everything is made of energy lines. Humans are egg-shaped with the ability to spread out threads from their abdomen to connect with other energy lines, if I remember correctly. That's interesting, Rachel. Because they're leaving the simulation. The gnome's ways say go back. Interesting, Annie. Yeah, I mean, I've never done ayahuasca. I did experiment with DMT, just for the record, because I wanted to understand that. It wasn't for any other reason than I wanted to understand what's it like to see something that I wouldn't normally see.
Yeah.
And it's pretty groundbreaking. It's pretty revolutionary. and I did it in a very controlled setting, so I mean, it wasn't just like, sitting in the backseat of somebody's, old car and, puffing away on DMT. But it was pretty amazing experience. And I saw things that I still can't explain. But I don't know how to quantify that, but I just know that it does open up something, because I was perceiving things that I've never seen before. Maybe they were internal, maybe they were external, maybe they were a reflection of the true reality around me. I don't know, but it was a wild experience. I'm not advocating that, by the way. I'm not advocating anybody do anything like that. Don't ever listen to somebody go, I should try that. Make your own decisions, make informed decisions, make the decisions that are best for you. Don't ever listen to somebody else and say, well, I should do that too. Don't ever do that. That's just...
because everybody's going to take it differently too. We're all different as far as our tolerances and
sure,
what it triggers biologically within us too. So
exactly. So, be very careful with anything like that, because God only knows what you're putting into you. So just make sure you're in a very, if you're going to make that step, take all the safeguards you can. So anyway, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News. I'm your anchor, along with my co-anchor, Mr. Sheldon Thomas, and we're going to dive into the news and see what I got on deck for you. Honestly, I don't even know, because I pulled these up a few days ago, and we burned through a few the last show, and we're going to burn through a few more tonight. All right, so here we go. The first one up, again, throughout the course of the show, we visit many different websites. And I want to encourage you guys to support these websites. Go visit them, give them traffic, because these sites are amazing, and they're being provided by the people that are putting them out there. And these are not big corporations. These are enthusiasts like you and I that are, taking the burden onto themselves to provide these websites. And some of them are bigger companies, but most of them are small. And it's an expensive endeavor to put up a website and to have, reasonable traffic. You have to pay for, different bandwidth amounts because, based upon your traffic, and that can get exorbitantly expensive. So your traffic does equal revenue for these sites, as they do host ads. And, I know none of us love ads, but they're keeping things available to us. So definitely please support all the sites we visit on the show. And I can't encourage you enough to do that. So, all right, first up in the news, we're going to visit a site called unexplained-mysteries.com, and this is a story from the UFO phenomena. Full disclosure here, I know Elon Musk, this is about Elon Musk and his thoughts. I know he's not a big advocate, or at least vocally, about aliens and extraterrestrial spacecraft or these other spacecraft around. It doesn't sound like he's really on board with it. I think he's an incredible guy, and I don't think that he has to believe in it for him to continue to be an incredible guy. But I don't know what he's going to say in this. I haven't pre-read it, but just, fair warning. It's an Elon Musk take on UFO phenomena. So here we go. From unexplained-mysteries.com, ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk discusses life, UFOs, and UFOs at a conference in Los Angeles. All right, the SpaceX CEO had plenty to share on the subject during a panel entitled, how to save the human race. It would be fair to say that Elon Musk has never seemed particularly enthusiastic about UFOs or the possibility of discovering evidence of intelligent extraterrestrial life. That's not to say that he doesn't have his own opinions on these topics, however. Speaking at the 2024 Milken Institute Global Conference in Los Angeles on May 7th, Musk suggested that if we sent probes out into the cosmos to search for aliens, it is most likely that we would discover barren planets and the remains of long-dead alien civilizations. The reason for this, he argues, is that inhabited worlds are extremely rare. How can he know that, though? Okay. I think the answer might be probably is that civilization is precarious and rare, he said, and that we should really think of human civilization as being like a tiny candle in a vast darkness, and we should do everything possible to ensure that the candle does not go out. Fair enough. I don't begrudge him that. On the subject of aliens visiting the Earth, Musk was clearly skeptical. For some reason, a lot of the same people who think there are aliens among us don't think we went to the moon, which I'm like, think about that for a second, he said. I've not seen any evidence of aliens. None of the Starlink satellites he noted have ever had to maneuver around a UFO. If someone has evidence of aliens, that's not just a fuzzy blob, then I'd love to see it. Love to hear about it, he said, but I don't think there is. And fair enough. I mean, he's coming from his own place on this. And I'm not one of those haters that, well, he's not a believer. Screw that guy. People are at their own place, and it's apparently not real high on his priority list. He's more geared towards progress for us, not we're, observing other progresses. And so whatever. But that's his take. I think Elon is just enjoying his THC. Could be Brooks. I don't know. I guess he probably, I know he smoked with Joe Rogan. But yeah, I mean, fair enough. He's welcome to roll a blunt and kick back and think about it. But yeah, I mean, that's his take. I don't think it's really newsworthy that he said that. I think everybody's already pretty well known that he's not really enthusiastic about the whole idea of wasting a lot of time looking.
I mean, I think he is right. It's probably extremely rare, but like what you're talking about, there are more stars in the universe than there is sand on this planet.
Yeah, that's a lot of stars.
We're not even close to scratching the surface of space. Not even close to even scratching it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think it's his opinion. It's his opinion.
Right. And each person is entitled to their own. I mean, everybody, again, it seems in current times, there's these encouragements, either implied or directly voiced, that there should be these monoculture of thought. It's like, you must think this way. It's like, no, that's not even natural that everybody thinks the same thing. And so, I think it's fine that there's skeptics and it's fine. I guess where I draw the line with that is when one side or the other treats the other side poorly for their beliefs. It's like, well, if somebody hasn't had an experience with a ghost, they may not believe with ghosts. They might not believe in that. They might not think it's possible. And that doesn't mean it's not possible. That's just their take from their experience or their, intellectual processes. Okay, that's where they're at. No problem. Just because I do believe in ghosts doesn't mean that I'm at odds with this person who doesn't. It's just we have different experience. We have different, different ideas about it, and that's okay. Again, having diverse ideas, I think is phenomenal because it causes you to think. We need our beliefs challenged because either one of two things happens when your beliefs are challenged. One, you may realize your beliefs are flawed and wrong and come to adjust them or adopt new ideas that you believe better represent the truth. Or two, you solidify your ideas in the face of that opposition because you just come to believe in it even more. So having debate and discussion is not a bad thing. And having opposing viewpoints is not a bad thing. It's become a bad thing in our in our modern culture. Like, you don't believe this, then you're this. Well, God, no. But anyway, and this isn't a left or right thing. It's just a human thing.
Yeah.
We gotta have the ability to express ourselves and express our ideas. And if you don't agree with those, don't participate or offer what you believe. And if they can't come to some kind of conclusion or common ground, okay, walk away. It's just that easy. It's like tuning into a radio station that you absolutely think sucks. God, I hate this radio station. Let me turn it on to see what sucks now. It's like, just find the station you like. Don't tune into the one that sucks. It's not tough. Whoops, wrong button. I hit the wrong button, but thank you, Flip Dizzies.
Thank you, Flip Dizzies.
Appreciate that a whole bunch. But, the whole idea that we have to have these monoculture of thought is just like, come on.
Well, and like everyone has to be categorized into a specific side, Like,
yeah.
if you have this opinion, that means you are right, or if you have this opinion, that means you're automatically left. It's like, we can all be individuals. It's okay too.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay if people don't believe like you believe. It's fine. We're not clones. We are individual. We are unique and in many ways. And it's okay to have a diversity of thought. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the first one up tonight on the news. Hope you guys found that valuable. And again, fair enough. Elon doesn't believe that. That's fine. He's not seeing anything to substantiate that belief in him. So maybe he will someday. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But let's get to the next article because there's more, folks. And this one is also coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is from the occult category, oddly enough. We don't see many articles from this category. But let's get to it. This is a strange one. Well, let's dive into it. Because according to unexplained-mysteries.com, conspiracy theorist claims demons are responsible for UFO sightings.
What?
Huh? Wow, Nathan Nade's coming in.
Oh, Nathan Nate.
Happy Friday to you, brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, man. That means a lot.
Thank you.
All right, conspiracy theorist claims demons are responsible for UFO sightings. Okay. Well,
Interesting.
I just got done with this whole idea of diversity of thought. And then this one.
Oh,
now I got to bite my tongue.
Challenges.
I got to bite my tongue now. Bart Sibrel was famously punched in the face by astronaut Buzz Aldrin after heckling him over the moon landings. There seems to have been a rise in people assigning religious significance to the UFO phenomenon in recent years. While some have come to see these objects as angelic in nature, others, such as conspiracy theorist Bart Sibrel, believes the complete opposite. Speaking recently on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Sibrel suggested that demonic entities are piloting UFOs. Well, they're pretty talented. And that they have been deliberately masquerading as extraterrestrial visitors as part of some malevolent and mysterious plan to dominate mankind. Oof. Oof.
Okay, that's an opinion.
Okay. The top two UFO researchers said UFOs are real. Number one, he said. Number two, they're not from outer space. Based upon what? I don't know. And number three, they're demonic. Okay. All right. Let's continue. The Bible talks about fallen angels interbreeding with humans, and as talked about in Genesis chapter 6, and creating a race known as the Nephilim, who were men of renown, world leaders. Sibrel, I don't know how to pronounce that, is certainly no stranger to controversy, having previously made headline news after being punched in the face by Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin back in 2002. The bust-up happened when he openly harassed Aldrin outside the Lux Hotel in Beverly Hills on the authenticity of the moon landings and even called him a thief, liar, and coward to his face. Aldrin later claimed that he had been acting in self-defense, and no charges were filed. Honestly, it sounds like he needed one of those.
Jeez.
I don't know. You hungry? I got a knuckle sandwich fresh from the pantry. Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean,
I mean,
that's a real dick move anyway. It's like this guy's, he's advanced in age, and I remember hearing about this and seeing the footage. And it was actually kind of comical. He just, I mean, Buzz just looks at him, and Buzz Aldrin's from that old school. It's like,
oh yeah,
you just don't say that to a man, and be like, well, I can say whatever I want. Well, you can, but you can also eat knuckles after that. That's a buffet of fun right there. So
I mean, this goes back to the thing though that like, how can you claim to know? Like, know, not a theory, not a thought. I think this is the case. I know these are things are the case. How can you claim that?
I don't know. And that's unfortunately, that's very rampant in the paranormal and supernatural fields. It's like, well, we know this. It's like, we don't know anything really. I mean, we have ideas, we have theories, and they could be correct, they could be incorrect, or they could be partially correct, or some variation of that, but we don't know anything. The only time you know something is when you can, like we know bears hibernate. Why? Because we can observe that activity. We can see them, create dens and, go on these feeding frenzies and fatten up and then just lay dormant for months. We can observe that. We've seen it. It's repeatable and measurable. But we don't know then that UFOs are piloted by demons. We don't know that. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, to each their own again.
Telling you that?
What? Yeah, I don't know. To each their own, and you can believe whatever you choose to believe. But I think that there's a danger in just grabbing onto these ideas. Like, well, that's it. That's it. That because we all have. I mean, everybody has a confirmation anxiety or a confirmation bias. Thank you. I was going to say anxiety. I don't know. I don't know where the hell that came from. But I mean, of course, because you wanna find things that agree with your paradigm, with what your view of the world is. But how do you attribute entire narratives to absolutely unobserved and unquantifiable phenomena such as UFOs? I mean, sure, they're seen. We don't get to, look in the windows and, press our face against the saucer glass and look in and, see Beelzebub there with his bat wings, attacking children or something. I mean, we don't see that. So how do you jump to that conclusion? Well, I don't know. Again, you wrap phenomena around your worldview, and then you in a burrito of bizarre, so.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, technically, he could exactly be right.
Sure.
Because it's the unknown. We don't know. So
well, sure.
Technically, he could be right.
But you can't say, this is a fact, this is a fact, this is a fact.
Yes.
The top two UFO researchers said UFOs are real. Okay, number one. He said number two, they're not from outer space. Based on what? Did you observe them? Like coming from somewhere else, or I mean, unless you've directly observed and been able to quantify that, how can you make that claim? And number three, they're demonic. Based upon what? Now, I will say that there's several abduction scenarios where it does almost seem demonic. It's very twisted and very, very. I don't want to say that it's diabolical, but it's just dismissive of the rights of the people. That some people are subjected to these nightmare scenarios. And again, I've interviewed a couple of these people, or a few of these people through the years. And, I mean, I have to believe that they're telling the truth when they're breaking down in tears during interviews, and I've got to, stop recording while they recover. And they're shaking as I'm looking at them on camera, and they can see in their face they're reliving these moments that are absolute terror. And I have to believe there's truth to what they're saying. And so it doesn't seem fair. They didn't ask for it, but they're subjected to it. But it still doesn't mean it's evil. It just might be they just regard us more like we fish sharks out of the ocean, and then we snap tags to their fins and then send them back. Well, they didn't ask for that. We didn't really have their permission, but we do that. Now for the shark, that could be very much the same thing. Like, I'm dying, or I can't do anything, and they're not letting me, and this isn't right. This isn't fair. Now, I'm attributing a lot of higher function, but let's say dolphins or orcas or these other higher function mammals that are, maybe in our range of intelligence. We put them in aquariums and make them jump through hoops for little fish. It's like, it's not like we're asking permission. And so perhaps, even though it's absolutely humiliating and horrifying for these abductees, it's not really that different from what we do to the biological life around us. And so we view them as, we're the superior. We should be able to watch and measure and record what you do and learn from you. And we're going to just tag you and monitor you. Well, it's not that different from what they allegedly do to us. So, it doesn't mean it's evil, though. It just means,
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, exactly. We don't do it for evil purposes, so they might not be either.
Yep. You never know. But it's, food for thought, folks. I again, I'm not speaking with any authority either. I don't know anything about this stuff for sure. I have ideas, but it doesn't mean I'm right. But I do try to at least quantify that with, some rational thought. Not like, well, it's demons. That's it. I don't know.
Well, no, you're not wrong.
I'm very sincere in what I'm saying. I don't know where to go from there. It's like, well, how do you jump to it's a UFO? Well, that's definitely demons. Where'd you get? How'd you get there? It's like jumping from Queens, New York to Sesame Street in one big step. It's like, how'd you get there?
There should have been steps before that. Where'd they go? Yeah.
Should have been a path that brought you there. How'd you get there? So anyway, give these guys a like. It'll help them out. Thank you, Drake. Absolutely, man. Appreciate that, Drake. Number 1.
Yeah, guys. Where are the thumbs? Where are the thumbs at?
Yeah, let's have those thumbs. Hit the thumbs. All right, let's get to the next one and last one for tonight. And this one is, I don't even know. Like I said, I don't remember what the hell I pulled up. But we're going to get to it now. Here we go. From the extraterrestrial files. It's definitely extraterrestrial night here in the news. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us this one. Could we already have picked up evidence of alien Dyson spheres? And what Dyson sphere is I think it's a fabrication of Star Trek. It might be some other source on this. I don't know, honestly. It could be a science fiction writer or as an astrophysicist as well. Can't remember his name, but it might have been one of his ideas. Same guy that I think that wrote iRobot or whatever. Anyway, the Dyson sphere is the idea that a civilization becomes so advanced that they can build a structure around a sun and capture 100% of its energy. Yep. And utilize that for their, for their race and for their, whether it's for, power or whatever. Anyway, it's an incredible concept because, to encase a star and be able to harness all of that energy coming off the star and utilize it for this enormous civilization is an incredible concept. And it's, there's been rumors of things like that possibly been observed in the past. So I'm interested with this. But again, the headline is, could we have already picked up evidence of an alien Dyson sphere?
Interesting.
Well, that's looking more like the Death Star there in the picture. That's not around the sun. Anyway, let's get to it. Amazing astronomical data for evidence of alien technosignatures could point us to extraterrestrial civilizations. Astronomers are currently on the lookout for signs of Dyson spheres, and even some believe that data previously recorded by telescopes could already contain the evidence that they're looking for. The concept of a Dyson sphere was first put forward over 50 years ago by the late physicist Freeman Dyson. Okay, well, that's the source. Who proposed the possibility that a sufficiently advanced extraterrestrial race may be able to completely surround a star with a huge spherical structure and then live on the inside of the sphere. Such a structure would be incomprehensibly large, akin to putting together something much larger than the Death Star from Star Wars, and with the added complexity of building it around a star. It stands to reason, therefore, that it should be possible to observe evidence of something that big through a telescope, even if it happened to be situated many hundreds of light years away. If we could find one, it could prove the existence of an advanced alien civilization. To this end, an international team of researchers has developed a way to parse through huge amounts of existing astronomical data to identify potential Dyson sphere technosignatures. Known as Project Hephaestus, that's like the blacksmith god, right? The search is now well underway. A specialized pipeline has been developed to identify potential Dyson sphere candidates, focusing on detecting sources that display anomalous infrared excesses that cannot be attributed to any known natural source, such as radiation. Of such radiation, the researchers wrote, and it will certainly be interesting to see what, if anything, the team manages to come up with. So there you go. Now, interestingly enough, I mean, there's I'm sure quite a few stars that are within hundreds of light years of the Earth, but I think a lot of them are hundreds of millions of light years away. But maybe then we're seeing galaxies. I'm not sure how that works. I don't know. But at any rate, no, I think they would still be star systems and such in our galaxy, in the Milky Way. But yes. At any rate, if it did exist, would it continue to exist until now? Or are we just seeing the after effects of what was a Dyson sphere? You know, and what may have outgrown or fallen apart, or an extinction event may have happened. So, you know, who knows? But that's kind of the weird part about this space stuff, is all we can do is observe light. Now, the other thing is how would there be infrared just from the heat of surrounding a star? Is that what they're saying? Maybe. If that was the case, how hot would it be inside that sphere? Oh God! You know, I mean, really, where do you get shade when you're like, you know, you're put an eggshell around a big star, and you know, it's not like there's cloudy days unless they simulate atmospheres as well. I don't know. It's very strange. And then where's the other resources coming from, like the water that would be necessary, and I'm you know, if they're carbon based, do they also breathe oxygen, and how do they oxygenate that Dyson sphere, which is like, you know, it'd be like millions of Earths, you know, literally in surface area to contain a star. Our star is a small star. You know, our sun is a very small star in terms of stars in the galaxy, you know, so.
Oh, that would be an astronomical amount of like iron and
material. Yeah, well, you know, God only knows what they would make it out of. But yeah, I mean, there might be much more exotic things out there that would handle the stresses of what that would mean. But my God. Oh, yeah. And then what do you do with, you know, crap hitting it? You know, like stuff that just is inevitably flying through the universe at any given time. You know, force fields. Yeah, maybe. I mean, honestly, could be a plasma shield of some kind or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty intense to think about. I thought
so beyond where we're at. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is like 1,000 years in the future. Like, holy jeez.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. That could be millions of years into the future. Just, you know, just based on raw materials, would you have to use up all the existing planets in order to just create a ring around a sun? You know, I mean, really? Like a halo? Yeah, you know?
Yeah, just a big halo.
Yeah. I don't know how it would work, but pretty incredible. So anyway, that's what they're doing. Maybe they'll find something. I don't know. Maybe it'll just help us know where to look with our telescopes, because space is freaking huge. So it's easy to miss anything out there. But that's the news, folks. Hope you guys feel like you walked away with something, that you learned something, and maybe food for thought, whatever. But yeah, at any rate, let's get on with it. Get back to the rest of the show, Sheldon. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. right, ladies and gentlemen, getting back to the rest of what we're doing here tonight. First off, I want to make an announcement. This is coming up pretty soon. It's coming. June is coming fast, and I want you to know about it because it'd be great to see you there. If you could be there, it'd be great to see you there. Let me blow this up a little bit because coming up on June 8th in Kalispell, Montana, ladies and gentlemen, this is going on the Kalispell Bigfoot Town Hall. First ever. The inaugural event in Kalispell, and this is happening at the Red Lion Hotel in Kalispell. That's 20 North Main Street, Kalispell, Montana. And so, accommodations are right there. I'm just saying. But you can meet the hosts of Bigfoot Today, which is a cool show, and a couple of wonderful friends of ours, Mr. Stephen Major and Mitch the Man Johnson, are great guys, wonderful guys. And you could meet Don and I. We're going to be over there. And there's going to be a lot going on. Just so you know, this is a free event. There's no admission charge at all. You just got to get there. And Barbara said she's making it. Thank you, Barbara. It'll be great to see you over there. However, there's another announcement I just got from Steven. He wanted me to talk a little bit about some of the door prizes. There's a couple really cool ones. He said one of the giveaways that'll be happening, they're going to be doing hourly giveaways there. So some really cool stuff. One of the giveaways is a prepaid scholarship for Ken Gerhard's July 27th cryptozoology course. And if you don't know who Ken Gerhard is, he's a phenomenal guy. He's published many books on cryptozoology. He's been on TV many times. He had his own show dealing with some cryptozoological searches going on in Alaska. It was amazing. He's been a guest on many other shows. He is definitely an incredible voice in the research community and just one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet anyway. But he's piloting this idea of doing cryptozoology courses online. So one of the prizes is you could get a fully paid ride to do Ken's workshops on cryptozoology. And that would be incredible. I would love to do that myself because Ken is amazing. I've had the benefit and privilege of sitting down with Ken a few times and just talking with him at conferences and stuff and having dinner with him. And he's just such a marvelous guy, but he's so incredibly knowledgeable and passionate about this stuff. So that's one thing. Another thing is a replica cast from the 1992 Deduct Springs Freeman footage for starters. Yeah. So that's going to be given away as well. And again, the casting, this is from Paul Freeman, who is, of course, the gentleman who is responsible for the Freeman footage. If you're into Bigfoot research and possible evidence, you should check out the Freeman footage if you haven't already. But his son, Michael, Paul Freeman passed away, but his son, Michael's been championing the cause and continues to promote what his dad did and continues to get out there himself. So he does conferences often as well and is a wonderful guy. So those are two of the door prizes that are going to be available at the event. Again, you pay nothing. You got to get there, but you pay nothing to get into it, and then you stand to win some amazing prizes. There's going to be T-shirts available as well for those that choose to get them. It's just going to be a phenomenal event, and I hope if any of you can make it, please do make it, because it'd be great to be able to meet you guys, any of you guys that can make the journey. Again, Don and I will be there, and Steven and Mitch will be there. There's going to be a lot of roundtable discussions. I'm going to do a presentation about Bigfoot, and there's going to be the opportunity for attendees to tell their experiences, and that's going to be wonderful. And so a lot of things going on. It's a one-day only event again, Saturday, June 8th, 2024, Kalispell, Montana. It's a free event, open to the public, so come share your story if you got one, and hang out with all of us. There's going to be other presentations there. Charles Howard Johnson, a dear friend of mine who investigates with me, doing paranormal investigating, he's going to be there, and he'll have a table and set up with his equipment and talking to people about ghost stuff. So there's a lot going on. It'd be great to see you guys. So check it out if you can. again, Kalispell, Montana. Red Lion Inn, June 8th, 2024. So
Woo.
be there or be square.
That's right.
That's coming up. Sheldon, you want to make the journey?
I'm unable to, but if I could, I would.
I know you would. It'd be great to see you there. But yeah, I'd like to see you come to Vernal if you could.
Vernal, yes.
Vernal,
Absolutely.
Utah. That'll be in September.
I will make it. I'll be there for
You
that
will?
one, guys. I'll be
Okay.
there.
All right. Good deal. All right. So that'll be coming up. What do we got next? I don't even know what we got next. I gotta get
What's on the agenda?
I don't even know, dude. I mean, it's just, what is the time? I guess I should look at the time. God, it's already 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
Time's a cooking away.
It really is, man. It's really flying. I should have pulled up a few more articles than I did. But I got a few here. There's this one. There's this one. Okay, so there's this one. All right. Yeah, I kind of dropped the ball on this a little bit. I kind of dropped the ball a little bit. But let me...
What about that one?
What's that?
Just saying, what about that one?
What
Maybe this one.
about that one? What one?
As you're looking, I'm just whatever screen you were on, I'm just like, yeah, that one works.
You're not helping, Sheldon. I'm just going to pull up a couple from Sasquatch Chronicles here. At least one. There's one. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. There's another listener email that popped up. And Sasquatch Chronicles, which, of course, I love that site. It's just so well done. Wes does an amazing job. We'll get to that. I just got to look at this, though, because I think, this is one that I pulled up last time. And I thought this will be a good one because we don't talk enough about this stuff. And we'll get started on this one. This is a story from ranker.com. And ranker.com is an amazing site that has, they literally have articles about everything you're interested in. But they have a neat section that has a lot to do with the paranormal, 40, and unusual supernatural stuff. And I love that they have this. So this is a collection of 20 lists in this area. It's creepy creatures of ill repute. Now, okay, so I'll tell you, I think there's a lot of people that believe in things like the Fae, but it's not as common and well discussed as things like Bigfoot and Dogman. And maybe for obvious reasons, because most people think of the Fae and they think of fairy tales and Disney. That's like literally Tinkerbell or, fairy tales dealing with fairies that are, incredibly old. And, oftentimes we're more fables and moral lessons than they were reporting actual events. So, but interestingly enough, with things like the Fae, there are reports all over the world from different cultures encountering little diminutive beings, humanoid beings, that some flew, some walked, some, were mystical or kind of magical and popping in and out and seeming to evaporate into nothingness or whatever. But sometimes they were tormenting people in a mischievous way. Sometimes they were tormenting people in an evil way. Sometimes they were benevolent and peaceful and kind. And so these cultures around the world that were very much removed from each other all came to these same conclusions, that there are these weird, strange, unusual beings. And so is it hard to believe that there could be fairies around? Or the Fae? I don't like the name fairies, honestly, because automatically it inspires Tinkerbell. It automatically inspires, fairy tales and all this stuff. And of course, fairy tales, which in and of itself implies, fabrications of fancy. But there are people still experiencing them to this day. And so I think it's a real phenomenon. I think there's really something going on with this. And it's kind of incumbent upon us to discuss this stuff. And I do believe that they're out there. I do. I realize it's maybe not a popular opinion in many of the circles, but we don't know what we're dealing with any of this stuff. And so, again, you oftentimes hear people say, well, I don't know, I'm just sticking with the true scientific method. I only apply the scientific method. I don't get into all this fancy, weird stuff. But honestly, if you're really embracing true scientific method, you have to leave your mind open to all possibilities until they can be systematically and methodically tested and removed.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
a lot of people stick, well, it's not, science doesn't say that. Well, what science says is in order to have true inquiry, you have to be open to all possibilities. And if you're not, you're already applying bias.
Yep.
And so it's not truly scientific at that point. You are removing opportunities for evidence because it doesn't fit into your box.
Yep.
So I think that's a distinction that a lot of people miss. So that refreshing snap of plastic, Sheldon, from my water bottles. If it don't make noise, it didn't happen. All right.
Water.
We got a little water. Did you say water?
Water.
Are you serious? Your little brother's been walking around going water for about a week now.
Why?
I don't know, but now you spit it out too. It's like, what's going on here?
Is he doing it ironically or unironically?
Ironically, he's just being like he's imitating the accents. Like some water.
Some water.
I don't think people from England say water. They say water.
Water.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, I'm very unworldly myself, so, but I watch a lot of TV. So
is anyone English in the chat? Anyone English?
Well, Maggie used to live in England. Maggie, do they say water or do they say water?
Water.
Water. How do you say it, Maggie? I guess it depends. It does depend on the region of the UK, though, because there's tons of accents in the UK.
Yep.
Like the Northern English people have a very strong accent, whereas the Southern English people have a very soft, mild accent. And okay, so Maggie says water.
Water.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate your insight. But I was visiting England. God, what was it? 2007, something like that. I went over there for the first time ever. I just sold a house, and I was like, I'd been a long run into my adulthood and never really taken any time or gone to see anything for myself. So I went over to England and visited a friend of mine over there that I'd come to know online, and his family. And his girlfriend was from Northern England, and she would say no, like no, like that, and I was like, what did you say? No. I'm like, what? No. Like that. And then I realized, oh, she's saying no. But it took me literally several seconds to dial in on what word just came out of her mouth. And I asked her to repeat it. And I was like, could you do it again? I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it in my mind that was no. He's like, no. Like that. And I thought it was so neat. And it was like, wow, that's really cool. And then, of course, to be the one with the accent was me. Everyone else was talking normally, and I was the one with the accent.
We don't have an accent.
We do, though. We do.
We do not.
We do, absolutely.
As they say with an accent.
We don't have no accent there, you betcha, don't you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're in Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesotans. Yeah. Yeah, those the hard O's, Minnesotan.
Soda.
All right, so we're going to get to fairies. Damn it. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, now back to fairies.
Yeah, somehow we ended up on water. And yeah, welcome to my aneurysm, folks. This is like an 8-year aneurysm that I've had broadcasting, doing these shows.
What do you mean? I'm 29. Just kidding.
Of course. I don't have a Texas accent either. Y'all don't? I don't know. Texas has a cool accent, though. I think that's cool. I love accents, for the record. I just really love accents. I try to imitate them and do it mostly poorly, but I still try. All right, so here we go. This is Ranker.com. It's an article by Amber Fua, F-U-A, and this is from December 26, 2019. Sleep? No. The ghost box said sleep.
Sleep.
Now, wouldn't you just crap if I did this? I just go out. I didn't realize I lost control. Well, there you go. All right,
That's
so
funny. 'Cause I'm extremely tired just from the day. Just from the day, but like interesting.
Even the ghost box is tired of my crap tonight. It's like, God, would you just go to sleep? I mentioned the book Dr. Sleep a while back. Oh, Rachel, maybe that was for you. Somebody's paying attention.
There's your message, Rachel.
There's your message. What the hell's Dr. Sleep? Okay. I don't want to know.
It's the story after The Shining.
Oh, really? Oh.
I believe so.
Stephen King?
I believe so.
Well, he's the one who wrote The Shining, so that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then yes.
Yes. Then yes. Okay. Y'all sound American. You all sound American to me, even though Canadians, till they say A.
Hey.
What you talking about, A? You hoser? Back in the 80s, there was a real weird. So in the 80s, there was this whole time of these weird dialects in America. In North America, I should say, because first it was the Valley Girl stuff in California. Take off. Oh, no. What the hell is bag your face? And it was kind of the precursor to a lot of, I don't know, bad behavior by young ladies. Just acting really dismissive of anybody. Oh my God. Gag me with a spoon. All this really weird Valley Girl stuff. And it was kind of popularized by Moon Zappa, who is Frank Zappa's daughter, the musician Frank Zappa. She did a movie called Valley Girls, or a song called Valley Girls or whatever. And then that became this cultural phenomena that just really swept the nation, and all these teenager prepubescent girls all trying to be like Valley Girls. And then came the Canadian, who are they? They're The Great White North was the movie, but some brothers, and there were two guys from Canada who were like, oh yeah, take off, hoser, eh? And then that became the big thing of everybody talking like Canadians. So I don't know. We're an impressionable lot here in America. We'll just suck up anybody's cultural identities.
I just like the way South Park does Canadian accents.
Stephen King wrote that after being scared at a hotel. Yeah, it was the God, what was the Stanley Hotel. The Stanley Hotel in Colorado, Eric. Yeah, yep. Chucky, Natural Alarm Clock. Oh, the McKenzie brothers. Thank you, Eric. Yep, you're right. Yep. You wouldn't like to be running late. What? What's that mean, Chucky? What's going on? Oh, gag me with a spoon. Carrie B says. Yeah, it looks like a beautiful hotel, but apparently it's got some activity going on there. But I like investigating hotels because I find them to be really, I don't know, if I was going to be a ghost and stuck somewhere, I think a hotel would be pretty interesting. Unless it shut down and it was like, abandoned. Then be sad and creepy, but it's a prune juice joke, Brent. Oh, yeah, I got you. That'll move things along, won't it? All right. One, if them played in Ghostbusters as Louis the Accountant. Oh, that's right. Rick Moranis. You're right. God, I forgot that. That's right. Yep. Well played, sir. Well played. There you go. All right, here we go. So we're going to get into the article about fairies. We're just so freaking unhinged here tonight. I don't know. It's like I don't have any agenda. I'm just being an idiot, more than normal. So, all right, should we get to the article, Sheldon?
I'm ready.
All right, 15 stories about fairies that prove they're more creepy than cute. Well, that'll keep you up at night. Let's go to number 1. Their babies back from the grave. Oh, God. What an image, too. What an image.
Oh, that's from Game of Thrones, yeah.
That is?
Yeah, that image is from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Jesus. Good God. I haven't seen that. The Oot birds are fairies that are believed to be the revived spirits of babies who passed during harsh winters. They tend to haunt anyone who hangs around the sites of their demise. Misery is their mission. Oot birds are even known to transform into large and terrifying owls that prey on night travelers. That's horrible. Wonder what the owl significance is there. It's funny how often owls come up as a symbol in the paranormal. It's just crazy. Is this disturbing? Hell yeah, it's disturbing. Here's the one: they claw you to pieces. This does not sound like Tinkerbell at all, Sheldon. Hide me, little sweep, cried Redcap. My brother is after me. Yeah, that sounds creepy. Typically illustrated as haggard and old, redcaps are said to be armed with razor-sharp teeth and claws, which they use to eat humans and fairies alike. Their name hints at their vicious nature. Redcaps mop up their target's blood with their cap after they commit a slaying.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, that's an orange cap, though, so that might have faded a little through the years. They slay children. Now, I don't know why children are always the targets in most of these weird stories, but
so this is like Pan's Labyrinth type of fairy.
yeah, right, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro's vision of that. Bean Fionn fairies are known as drowning fairies. They're said to pull children to their underwater doom. If you're searching for a Bean Fionn fairy, you're advised to look around dark waters where drownings have occurred. These creatures were likely devised by parents looking to keep their kids from playing in the water, but that doesn't make them any less creepy. Yeah, I do think that a lot of folklore was just bad parenting.
Yeah.
Don't go outside; the wood buggers will get you. Oh, ever. Stay inside. And there's so many cautionary tales, even, in different cultures, like the Tom Seawood, who is a fantastic guy. He's a First Nation speaker. He belongs to the Clucklackiwak tribe in British Columbia and Pacific Northwest. He talks about the Zunaqua, which is their version of Sasquatch, but she has a basket on her back. And if your kids are out past dark or when they're supposed to be inside, she'll come and grab your children and put them in her basket and take them off into the mountains, never to be seen again, which they would imply that they become Zunaqua food. So, yeah, not good. But again, there are a lot of these get molded towards, you better behave or the boogeyman will come, or, the whatever, insert monster here, and then, be good, or insert, fantastic thing here. Even to the point of, Santa Claus. Like, you better be good. Santa's watching. Christmas will be coming and you're going to get coal,
That's control with fear.
Right. I mean, it's
Just
bad.
like the media.
It's a lot of bad parenting. Although, good kids are, of course, a benefit to everybody. It makes life easier when your kids are, scared straight in a sense, but they grow up a little emotionally scarred and damaged. But either way, they did behave and they're still alive to become adults. Now, I suppose, historically, being a child or having a child was an incredible liability, one, because the wild world, when we were just carving a world into it, didn't, it looked at the low-hanging fruit. You look at any predator will try to take the young because, of course, they're slower. They're unable to defend themselves much less. They can defend themselves much less than their adult versions, and that's true of anything. So nature is hardwired to take the young, So whether it's wolves, coyotes, any number of animals, bear possibly, if they're going to, go after people, probably going to go after the little ones because they don't run fast. That's the low-hanging fruit. And so having cautionary tales is probably a good thing to keep your kids interested in sticking close, being mindful of being close, and then being indoors before the predators really come out in many cases. So,
yeah, it's like Eric's saying that. He says, Brent, I wonder if that's based on some Sasquatch incidents.
Oh, I'm sure it is. There's many First Nations stories of Sasquatch or some version of that coming into tribes and taking the women and children and never to be seen again. And, long-standing battles and conflicts between the two as a result of that. And the same is true of the Lovelock Cave incident, which dealt with red-haired giants. And I think it was, which tribe was that? I don't ever remember. And I apologize because I should. I've certainly covered that story through the years a few times, but yeah, I mean, yeah, there's many times people have become prey, and had to battle against those wild elements, whether they are such things as Sasquatch that were raising hell, or if they were just wolves or any number of predators. So, but anyway, there you go. I was afraid of Bigfoot taking me from the outhouse that night. Oh yeah, I'll bet.
Oh God.
I tell you what, I was, I when I was 15 years old, I went with another, a family who was very close friends with my family. And I went on a 3-week vacation with them. The parents, one of them was a very successful lawyer. And so they kind of took me on their family vacation. And we went from Minnesota across the U.S. to Jackson Hole to Seattle, out in the San Juan Islands on a cruiser, and then worked our way back through Canada, came back through Victoria, and came down through Banff and all that. But in Banff, we ended up taking a 3-day horseback ride up into the Canadian Rockies, and stayed at this cabin up in the Rockies in the middle of nowhere. And it's beautiful up there. It's gorgeous, but I mean, there's no plumbing. You don't turn on a faucet there. You know, it's when you wake up with a rumble in the tummy, you got to go outside, and you got to go about 20 to 50 yards. I don't remember how far the outhouse is away, but we're up in this mountain meadow with a stream running by this cabin, and it's the dead of night, and I got to go out and roll a deuce. And I'm here to tell you, I was puckering pretty hard just all the way there, and just listening intently, because you're in grizzly bear, mountain lion. I mean, there's so many things up there that put you on the menu. And here I am, a 15-year-old kid, going out in the middle of the night all by myself to use an outhouse. And it was a little hair raising. I'm from Minnesota, in rural southeastern Minnesota at that. Mm-hmm. We just didn't have grizzly bears and mountain lions and things like that I knew of. Didn't know until I heard that growling when I was 14 the year before. That's what really scared me about it, So I was up in the wilds, really, really wilds, and having to use an outhouse, and it was like, it was pretty terrifying. I mean, it was fine. It was perfectly fine. And there were guides with us, but nobody escorted me to the outhouse. They're like, yeah, just go out there. They were all relaxed and comfortable. They knew this area. I didn't know it, but it was, I kept thinking, is there a grizzly by that creek?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Face with a grizzly.
I couldn't imagine.
It seems like that's the. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Scared the crap out of me, literally.
Oh God.
There you go. So
what would you rather be face to face with, a Bigfoot or a grizzly?
Bigfoot, because I think most commonly Bigfoot encounters are very benign. I mean, they're terrifying, but they just may break a tree, and you might get a bluff charge most of the times, and then they'll just disappear or walk away, or continue to observe you, but they don't go out of their way to hurt people. Otherwise, there wouldn't be anybody talking about Bigfoot encounters, because they'd all be hurt or dead. But Brent, did you ever figure out what the growling was? No, I never saw it, Eric, but the only thing I can figure is years ago, we went up there. Sheldon, you were with me actually, when we were doing those product pictures up in the hill.
Ah, yes.
And we found that structure up there, and Yep. I took pictures. I'd never even considered it until I became an adult and started learning about Sasquatch, and learning about what things are attributed to them. And then found a broken off tree that was like a maple sapling that was about 6 inches in diameter. It snapped about 4 feet off, all just laying on the ground, no deadfall on top of it, just broken. And then further up into the hill, I kept having this feeling like I got to go up there. I don't know why, but we got to go up there. So Sheldon and I walked up there, and we got past this stand of boulders on the incline going up this hill, the bluff. They call them bluffs, and this is called Rattlesnake Bluff specifically. But we get past this stand of boulders, and it's like a blind of boulders, and behind it was this structure. And it was a very low structure. It was dug out into the earth but over the top was these broken off branches that were fashioned into a kind of roof with leaves all over it. And I was like, oh. And on the ground was where I found that small maple branch. It was like it was about 8-10 inches long, but it was a fresh branch from a maple. And it was stripped of all of the bark, and it looked wet, and it had been a dry period, so it wasn't like it was raining. And I reached down and grabbed it. It was still tacky with that maple sap.
Ooh.
And I was like, and seeing the structure, seeing that stick, and all of that just kind of came together. And it was like I went back to being 14 and being growled at and going, oh my God. And then it just hit me. Maybe I was growled at by a Bigfoot, because this was what I found. I do have pictures of that structure. I keep meaning to pull them up. They're over on my laptop and show them to you guys. And a weird wet, looks like a wet butt print on the overhang of this one big boulder that was part of the blind. It was like a cutout area, a broken out piece of that where you could kind of go under a little bit. But leaning up against one side looked like this wet butt print. And it was like, this wasn't far from the Mississippi River. So it was like it was a hot summer day, and maybe something went down to the river and took a dip and then was heading back up in the hills and had nice, maple branch bark, and, that young green bark from the small shoot. And then we stumbled upon it and it hid or whatever. But I don't know. It's speculative, of course, but... to me, what it was, that was when I suddenly could put an identity to being growled at 14, not knowing what the hell that was, not having any foundation at all for what I experienced, other than it was huge and it shook my body when it growled. And so that's the whole. Yeah, I saw a bunny butt yesterday, Elaine says. Okay.
Thanks, Elaine.
So anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Can I be sure that that's the case? No, but that's the only thing that makes sense, because whatever growled was not a white-tailed deer or anything smaller. It was enormous, and it resonated. It shook my body. I've never heard a sound like that since, in that depth and power. Never heard a sound like that until I went to the movie Jurassic Park and saw the part where the kids are in the car, the first Jurassic Park, and that T-Rex comes down. It's like, and the eye is right outside the window. And I had just shivers all over my whole body. I was like, I know that sound. I know a sound like that. And it was very, very close. Just that deep rumbling growl. So, yeah. Interesting story. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, I'm happy to share my stories, but I don't ever want the show to be about me. It's just, I've been through some weird things. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't be sure that that's what the cause of it was, but that's the only thing that has made any sense in all of those years since, because I walked around with that in my mind for decades, not able to attribute it or do anything with it other than be uncertain about these woods that I'd grown up in. So
yeah,
it was crazy. Bear can get pretty low. Yeah, I've never heard a bear in person, but I've listened to a lot of bear recordings, and they can get pretty low. But what I heard was, it was resonating me. It wasn't just a deep growl, like, it was like those sound waves were hitting me.
In your chest and all that.
And it was long. It just kept going and going and going. It was like it had the lung capacity of an elephant. It was just like, my God. And I was so afraid. I don't know. I mean, it's just my word, but this is what I felt. I was just like, whatever's making that sound is going to kill us. And I could have moved. Like, I wasn't frozen like from infrasound or anything. I could have moved. I just didn't dare, because whatever's making that sound, I didn't want to do anything to encourage it to attack. I didn't dare move. It's just like, and shaking, vibrating as it's growling. And finally I just said to my friend, I said, well, what is that? And he goes, I don't know, but we got to get the hell out of here. And we took off. That was the only thing that was left. That was the only option left, because that was not in fight category. That was just way too big. Whatever it was way too big and way too scary. Just the sound of it was way too scary. So, yeah. So anyway, There we go.
So
All right.
fairies.
Back to fairies again. Yeah.
Holy jeez.
I know we just get so random here. So
What do you mean we?
I get so random here. Sorry. Well, it's nice. It's nice.
I like the stories. No, I enjoy it.
It's nice that you're here because you actually went up and found that structure with me. I know,
it's true.
That's the beauty of telling that now is that you were there. I mean, you were with me when we discovered that, and it was like, oh my God. So.
Oh yeah, that was pretty crazy. And I mean, we even you're not talking about the one in Idaho, right?
No, I'm talking. No. This is the
one
in Minnesota.
One in Idaho.
Yes. Yep.
That's
a different one. But that was the people that had the disappearing chickens. So their chickens were systematically disappearing from 29 to 9. They lost 20 chickens in a short period of time with no feather litter anywhere. They were just gone, evaporated. And then we found the structure. Well, the people found the structure first and kind of filled us in on everything. And then after we found it, whatever was using it didn't touch it again. It was like our smell must have made them go, they found it. Get out of here. Stay out of here.
Oh.
And basically they were running out of chickens anyway. So I guess the Bigfoot decided, they should have some of their own chickens. Jeez. All right. There's go ahead.
Eric asks, Sheldon, do you have any experiences, not Bigfoot related, not other than the structures that we saw? I don't have any face-to-face experiences, sounds, not that I remember. No.
Mm-hmm.
No Bigfoot experiences for me.
Nope. All right. We're going to go Their Screams Mean Doom, number 4. This is the Banshee, of course, the Banshee of Irish lore. It says, also known as Woman Fairy, originated in Ireland, is said to be most active at night before a passing. In some folklore, she even comes to the door of those who are expected to pass. She looks like a full-sized human female, and though her appearance varies by region, her hair is always stringy, and she always wears a white gown or shroud. She frequently appears covered in moss as well. The Banshee is recognized by her loud, mournful wails, and are said to be harbinger of someone's demise. Yeah, so if you hear a Banshee, that's not a good thing. But just because you hear a scream doesn't mean it's a Banshee, so don't let it scare you to death.
I mean, if I'm hearing screaming from any kind of woods...
Yeah,
it can stay over there. I'm staying over here,
Yeah, that's the tough part. So, I mean, of course, people hear these blood-curdling screams coming from the woods. And of course, if it's somebody in desperate need of help, you want to be able to, think, I want to go help them. But I think in some of these cases, it's, and in most of these cases, it's not actually a woman at all. And it's something maybe trying to draw people to come to that aid and, make quick work of them. So, I mean, it's a creepy idea. Now, there's lots of animals out there that sound really bizarre, and that's, I do encourage people to go and listen to sound bites of known animals, especially in a region where you're going to be, especially if you're going to be Bigfoot hunting and Bigfoot, researching, because you have to know the local fauna and be able to differentiate that from not normal. So, and there's a lot of animals that sound absolutely not normal, again, like the koala, for instance. They look like these little teddy bears, but they sound like they open their mouths and it's like the bowels of hell.
The drop bears, yep.
Yeah, they are just these horrible sounding little fluffy things. And if I heard that, if I'd never heard and attributed that to a koala bear, I would have swore it was some huge bloodthirsty animal.
Yeah.
But and it looks, you look and it's this adorable thing, and it's like,
oddly deep.
Yeah, it's oddly deep, and apparently they're regular carriers of syphilis too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there's poor things. I don't know how they got syphilis in their deal, but it doesn't go well for them apparently. But yeah, koalas. Yeah.
Oh, Rachel said she may be considered an image of dread, but the banshees in a way preparing you for the loss of loved ones.
That's a good point. Yeah, and I think the banshee, oftentimes they're attached to a family line, and I don't necessarily understand what that means, but it doesn't sound like it's malevolent. It sounds like, that the mourning is kind of like, oh no, one of my family is falling, or one of my, I don't know how that attachment works or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not really as malevolent as it sounds like. They don't just come out and randomly scream at people and then they die. That's become more of the Hollywood version of a banshee, but
Yeah.
but their mourning, their wailing was, again, just a harbinger, like, hey, someone's about to die. And so it's a tragic event.
Oh, by the way, Dad, it's not. Apparently, it's chlamydia.
Oh, chlamydia. Okay, sorry.
Maggie wanted to correct you on that.
Okay. Is that better? I'm not sure how this works. I'm between one or the other, but neither of them sounds great for that matter. But I think chlamydia is treatable, isn't it? I think they both are. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think syphilis is treated with the antibiotics, and probably chlamydia is too. I don't know. The clap, isn't that the clap?
I think so.
Sorry.
Oh, I just caught that joke. Okay.
All right. Koalas have chlamydia, not syphilis. Okay. I gotcha. Well, I don't know. We don't have a lot of koalas up here, so I'm just going from memory. And that can be scary all in itself. Yes, the clap, Eric says. Not the clash. Should I stay or should I go now? All right. All right, let's go to number 5. They get excited by death. Sound like some of my exes. No, I'm just kidding. Viricas gather outside the homes of dying people while happily chattering to each other. Well, that's not creepy at all. These 18-inch tall harbingers of doom are instantly recognizable thanks to their vivid red color and blood-stained teeth. According to folklore, they can be appeased, but it isn't easy. Viricas require a shrine filled with daily burned offerings of flowers and spices to leave you alone.
That's probably why they're happy. They know what you're going to do.
Yeah, either they're getting burned spices and flowers or they're getting a corpse. One of the two.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right. Let's close that off there. It's already 8:35. We got to get to some of the cryptids.
It'd be so cool to know like where these folklore stories came from,
Yeah.
where they all originated.
Sure. I don't know what the Viricus comes from. Again,
These I've never heard of.
The banshee you've heard of, though, of course, right?
Oh, the banshee, I have,
Yeah.
yes.
And the red cap gnomes, there's still sightings of them today. And they are little bastards. They're not nice. We have a friend of the show, Robin Moonshadow, who has Strange Realms. StrangeRealms.org is her site, but she has a group on Facebook. And she deals with proto-pygmies and stuff, and she talks about red caps. And they are little bastards. They're not the sweet garden gnome statues that we've come to love. But they look apparently just like that. Like that's basically a red cap. However, they don't on the brochures of the garden gnomes, they don't talk about how their caps are red because they wiped up the blood of their enemies. Anyway. All right, so we're going to get to the cryptids. Let's do it, Sheldon.
Oh, that's interesting. Brooks, sorry, just one more point.
Yeah.
Brooks said, what's amazing, Sheldon, is their stories are similar throughout the world on these things.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
sure. Good point.
I like
Good
that.
point.
Consistency.
Here we go.
Yes.
Special thanks to Grumpy Owl for that incredible opener.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So Grumpy Owl says, I like that story. The one with the one that gave the couple the middle finger. It did make me chuckle a bit. Yeah, you got to wonder. I mean, if they're sitting out there, are they observing us and learning like, oh, yeah, middle finger is how you just tell them to piss off kind of thing, So they learn these gestures from watching us. And then they're real flamboyant about it, like, throwing up fingers as they're walking by. Going But there's a story out of California, I think, of a red cap. And That one's kind of horrible. A mom and her two kids, a daughter and a son, were living in this rented cabin, and they happened to have this little bastard going around and circle the house, laughing sinister and pushing over her plants and breaking them, and then they created like this flower garden with a little goldfish pond, and had like a gnome statue to try to appease it. And like the little guy just started like throwing the gnome statues all over, and he'd grab the goldfish and eat them and laugh, and he'd be out there just being sinister as hell all hours of the night. So,
jeez.
Yeah. And one time she was getting her groceries in with her little son, and she, opened the door and was grabbing the groceries, and then she looked up, and in front of the car was a little gnome going like that, and then it started chasing her, and she had to run inside with her son, and got inside and shut the door, and then it sat and looked in the windows and was like, I mean, it's a little diabolical bastard. So,
oh, that's when you break out the bat. Oh yeah.
No, it's lock and load, rack a shell.
Right, that works too.
Yeah, I don't know. Red caps are Scottish, of course. They know gestures and words. I guess I could do it. I could do it. I still enjoy my gnome books where gnomes are lovable. I'd like that version better. I mean, there's house gnomes, and there's all kinds of real positive gnomes out there. There's the Cherokee little people, who actually, oddly enough, look like the description of them sounds kind of horrifying, but they were purple skinned, but they have these little gaunt bodies and these big heads with bulbous eyes, but they were very benevolent. However, the Cherokee also had stories of these red-capped little old-looking men who were horrible, and that would be the red-capped gnomes. So It's kind of opposite. We don't have the statues of the purple ones that are all nice and friendly. We got the statues of the bastards.
It's actually funny when you think about it. Yeah, the ones who are nice, we have the we don't at all.
We don't acknowledge them. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't acknowledge just because of their looks. Oh my god.
Yeah, they look horrible. They don't look good in the garden. Let's get the red ones. The ones that'll chew up your cat and stuff. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. My garden gnomes too, Maggie says. Yeah, I mean, they're adorable little things, but apparently they're not in real life, is the version I've heard. But anyway, let's get to the cryptids and find out just what the hell's going on in cryptid land.
Yeah, what's going on there?
I don't even know. I got to make sure I'm on the right. Here we go.
Oh my God.
What?
What are we doing now? What's going on?
Who am I? What's my motivation? I don't even know why I'm here.
Do you
Who
have
are you?
memory issues? Do we need to have a conversation?
Well, you never know. I think as I'm getting older, I do actually, but that's a topic for a different show altogether.
Oh,
not a Paranormal Portal show, just the portal
Opening
of my
up.
life. Yeah, highway to heaven.
Portal.
Yeah, who knows? All right, so we're going to go to Sasquatch Chronicles blog to start things out again. Thanks to Wes Germer for letting us use this. I like to showcase his listener emails that he posts on the blog. I think those are amazing insights into Sasquatch behavior and what people have observed them doing. I think as it goes, we don't have a lot of evidence of what Sasquatch is or what they do and all that, but these are a great snapshot, a great glimpse into observed behavior that maybe we can learn from. So let's check out the first one from May 17th. This is Sunset Falls, Washington, and strange killing of sheep. A listener writes, I should start by saying I've been listening to your podcast since last fall and have been enjoying it. I was turned on to it from a coworker that's been listening for a few years. I've enjoyed the subject since I was a kid growing up in Montana in the 70s, but it was all just kind of a fun thing to talk about growing up and bleeding into my adult years. It was never anything I took very seriously or even worried too much about. I grew up in the mountains, hunting and fishing, and have consumed my life from an early age, so I've always been comfortable in the woods and have seen and heard about everything there is to see and hear out there. With that said, over the last several years, I've had some odd things go on. No actual evidence or sightings, just things that I never put together until recently. The reason for this email is just to share what I encountered last Sunday at Sunset Falls. And I have lived in Ridgeville for the last couple of years, so you know how close I am to make a quick drive up there. This is the second time I've been up in the area. mostly just out of curiosity from your experience. Both times during the day, as it just feels too abnormal me being in that area. I just don't get good vibes when I'm there. That feeling of someone watching from the other side of the river is always there. But last weekend, only about a quarter mile past the campground, I drove past a sheep carcass. I'll include the photos. I didn't stop, but just thought it seemed weird to be there. I keep driving down to the area that flattens out so my dogs could cool off in the river without worrying about going down the cliffs. A mile or so in, I snapped a picture of the tree lodged between the others. As you can tell from the pictures, it was out of place. The furthest picture away is from the truck with no zoom, so you can get an idea of the distance. It was probably about 12 to 14 inches thick and 4 feet long. The others I zoomed in, and if you look at the right side, you can tell that it's been burnt. The forest fire that was right there a couple of years ago is probably 50 yards up the hill, so I don't think that tree fell there. When we got to the flat area that I mentioned before to let the dogs swim, it seemed to be okay for 10 minutes or so. Then, almost simultaneously, I got goosebumps, like something was wrong. And when I turned around, one of the dogs was heading to the truck, and he's a Chihuahua. Really? That's what we call bait. No, I'm just kidding. And very aware of his surroundings at all times. My other dog, that's a German short-haired pointer, doesn't even know what planet he's on half the time, so there was no reaction from him. Other than that, I don't know what it was, but we got the feeling we should leave. This whole time, all I could think was getting back to that sheep. So on the way back, my wife decided she wanted to stop and check out the campsite where the missing guy from the van was parked. Well, I questioned this several times, asking, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" It just didn't feel right to me, but we stopped anyway. I let the dogs out again just because I knew they would let me know if something was going on. As soon as we let the Chihuahua down, he bolted right back for the truck. He did not want to go there, and again, I got that uneasy feeling with the goosebumps, and it was time to go. I knew we were just about out of there, but there was still the sheep carcass coming up before we left. As I rolled up to it now, it was on my driver's side, and I could really get a better look. It was in 5 separate pieces. The hide itself that looked like it had been peeled off the animal, not skinned. Like I said, I've been a hunter my whole life. I know what a hide looks like and when a knife has been on it. And this was not what it looks like. It looked like an orange peel. The hoof by itself, with no wool on it, looked like it was broken off, not cut, not shaved, broken. The other haunch looked the same, but all the meat was still there. Again, looked to be broken off. Even with the benefit of the doubt, let's say a farmer dumped it up there, whether it was sick or they butchered it, most farmers are going to keep the wool. And like I said, there were no tool marks on this thing that I could tell. Then every animal that every animal killed that I've seen that a bear or cat has gotten a hold of, they tear a hole in the hide and eat it through the area. They don't go through the trouble of skinning something like that. Also, I would think if somebody was dumping that there, they would have dumped it over the ledge. And if you look at these photos, the area behind it near the bank is undisturbed. No bushes or plants were knocked over. Of course, all this is an afterthought because in the moment, while I was taking these pictures, something was crashing through the timber just on the other side of the road. And you know how thick it is in there? I couldn't see anything. I peered over the top of my truck, hoping to catch something, but there was nothing there. Suddenly, I had this overwhelming fear take over, and I could not get in my truck fast enough. My wife looked at me and said, "What's wrong with you? You're as white as a ghost." I told her there was something in the bushes on the other side of the road, and she replied, saying she thought it was me. I was glad to hear that she had heard it, and just then, she listened out the window and heard it again. I didn't hear it the second time. I just told her to roll her window up. We're leaving. After we got down to the campground, there were other cars and people around, and I could relax a little bit. I thought to myself, how out of character that was for me. I've never been afraid of bears. I've hunted brown bears in coastal Alaska. Yes, mountain lions make me a little nervous, but I know how to deal with that. Whatever that was, I knew I didn't want to go up and face it. I can't say what it was for sure. I know it was not a deer. They don't hang around dead carcasses. I know it wasn't a cat. They don't make that much noise. A bear, maybe, but I know how to deal with bears. And if it was, chances are pretty good it would have bolted as soon as my truck pulled up. They're my favorite animal to pursue, and I'm very passionate about bears. But whatever this was, I was flat out scared. I just thought you might find this interesting since I know how familiar you are with that area as well. I have no intentions of ever returning up there. Like you said, there is something wrong with that place. Thank you again, Wes, for everything you do and putting out the great context every week. I've learned a lot from you and your listeners over the last few months. It's been a great ride so far. There's the picture of that log that's just in the tree like that.
We don't see it.
You know, oh, yeah, derp. There we go.
I've been waiting to say something.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So there's the picture of that short log in the tree, and one side is burned. And he said the fire wasn't actually in this area. Now, I'm pretty sure he's visiting the place where Wes had his encounter. And where Tony Merkel took Wes back up there to go into the detail, and they ended up finding that abandoned, that truck that was parked there for a long time with stuff all over the place, like something had rummaged through the stuff. And it turned out to be a missing guy. I'm not sure what the update is on that. I didn't ever catch that, but yeah, I mean, it did turn out to be a missing guy that had been gone for a few weeks, unheard of by his family. So very strange.
Annie Manuel actually brought up a good point. Infrasound creates fear.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. Yeah.
So that could be because at the end he was confused. He's like, I don't know, I was feeling so much fear, there's so much fear, but it could be the unknown aspect of it too, that things weren't really, adding up.
Well, yeah. And it could be intuition, like some higher self going, get out of here, go, get. I believe that we're guided, and it could be guides, could be a guardian angel saying, this isn't good, get out of here. This is a bad place for you. It could be all the above. I don't know. But infrasound is certainly a concept we can all wrap our heads around. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a close-up of that log. I guess the burn part must be on this side or something. I'm not really seeing it on this picture, but yeah, you can see. Yeah. You can see it's back a ways from the road there, but he went and got a close-up of it. That does look creepy. It looks like this is broken off here too. Like this is a shear of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's unusual for that. Not that it couldn't have been dragged down by another deadfall piece, but let's see, let's go back up here. I mean, if this came down from a tree, it could have snapped off this somehow, but I don't know how far down this goes.
Yeah.
It's hard to quantify it really, but with the one image, but it doesn't look like an old break. It looks kind of a fresh break, but at any rate, it could be natural. There's the other side where he felt he was being watched the whole time with his dogs in the river. It looks like a beautiful place, but
that's great. Yeah.
Oh, there's the peelings of the sheep carcass.
Oh wow, yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's segmented. It does look rudimentarily skinned or peeled, as he said.
Yeah.
There's the one hoof just broken off.
Wow.
That is a little unusual. Yeah, that looks like a horrible mess. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yikes. There's some broken off. Oh, that's the hoof all by itself. That looks like it's snapped off. Doesn't look like it's chewed off either, does it? It looks like something
like
broke.
Broken at a single point.
Yeah, it looks like I mean, it's obviously not a knife cut, but it's not like it was gnawed off over a period of bites. It looks like something grabbed it and went snap and
Yeah.
through this part. They didn't like this part. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. That's pretty creepy. Pretty creepy, dude. But yeah, you got to trust your gut. Definitely trust your intuition on this stuff, folks. If you get the bad feeling, listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% believe in that too. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I think you got to pay attention to what your gut tells you because it's telling you something. But it does look like... What's that?
Type in Rumble says there have been many physical happenings that take place here. Have actually grabbed my gun a couple times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Pacific Northwest has tons of mysteries. Absolutely.
It does. You know, oddly enough, I think every region has tons of mysteries and has so much weirdness. And we end up dialing in and, zeroing in on certain points like the Pacific Northwest. Of course, you think of Bigfoot and those large beings. But they're kind of everywhere, really. And then there's the UFO stuff. There's a lot of that up here in the Pacific Northwest and the inland Northwest where I live. And I think every place has plenty of stuff going on. It's just, I think more people are looking now and paying attention, whereas before people just kind of dismissed most of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Or if they did experience something, they just didn't talk about it because there wasn't really anywhere to go talk about it. So
yeah, plus like a story like this, I could hear someone saying, "Oh, that could easily be a bear that did that,"
Well, I will say this: it's like when I was first reading the story, I had the feeling like this is a fresher kill, but when you look at this, it does look like it's kind of an older thing, but. I don't know.
How much older though? I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah,
that
I don't
aspect.
either.
I couldn't guess. I couldn't say it was a day old or half a day old. I have no clue.
Right. I don't have any measure for that either. And knowing this guy's a hunter, he probably has a better idea of what he was looking at than I do. A slice of cherry pie. Thank you, Maggie.
Oh, thank you, Maggie.
And hello to Alien Keeper over there on Twitch, stopping in. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Great to see you.
Digger Dog says that he even sees that several times here in North Cali.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And there, we've even read stories about, the Bigfoot stories in North Cali too. So hey,
Yeah. Excellent. Carrie's here. Good to see you. Why don't you do shout out, Sheldon, while we got some time here on YouTube. I'm gonna just go into Rumble and say Taipan is there. You're there. Digger Dog or Dog Digger is there. Barbara is there. I haven't seen Justin Good Earth tonight, but perhaps life happened and he couldn't make it. But in any case, that looks like the Rumble crew. And again, over in Twitch, Alien Keeper is there. Let me just look quick. And you can get the YouTube one ready. And the reason that I'm doing YouTube last is, a lot of people just watch and listen and aren't typing. But if you want to shout out, type something in YouTube chat so that Sheldon will get a list populated. I do want to look at Twitch to see if anything else has been going on there. First time chatter, Alien Keeper. Very cool. And Lucky Gypsy's over there too. And as am I. So good to see you, Alien. Great to have you here. That is
over
wonderful.
here on the YouTube end of things, we got Annie Manuel, Aussie Tiger, Brooks, Carrie B, Chucky Danger, Grumpy Owl, John Stevenson, John Temprine, Karen Alberding, Kat Doherty, Lisa G, Maggie M10, you're here, Rachel's here, SoulCal Squatcher's here, T-Az, T-A-Z.
Taz, yeah.
Taz.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a space there. Okay. Tommy Cooper, Wizard Moon 13, and Elaine Clifford. Wait, someone popped in. Eric Frey. Oh, yeah, I'm reading Eric's here. Travis William. I don't know if I've seen that name before. That might be new.
Travis? Yeah, he's been here before. I think.
Maybe. I think that's everyone. That's everyone.
Well, that is everyone, and thank you all for being here. And if you're just kicking back, watching, and relaxing, that's fine too. That's perfectly legal. You don't have to be talking too much. Sorry, I was kind of all over the map tonight, but I just like talking about this stuff, and I'm always open to the idea that sometimes the discussions go in different directions. And in any case, hope you guys don't mind, but if you do mind, this might not be the right show for you. Honestly, yes. I mean, this is a community more than anything, and as I stated earlier, a lot of us have been together for years, and this is really a community more than it is just me yapping at you guys. We are, we have discussions, we share ideas, and we do our best to keep an eye on the chat to see what you guys have to say about things. Tomorrow night it'll be just me, and so I hope you guys will join me then. We do these live streams, in case you're new, we do these live streams every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday on all these platforms, which includes YouTube, Rumble, and Twitch. And they get uploaded to BitChute later as it syncs with other channels. So watch for it in any of those platforms, whichever ones you like to use. Of course, we're just diversifying as much as we can to get the word out there, but we'd love your support. If you liked what you've been watching, or if you've watched for a while now, please let other people in your communities know about the show. It would be wonderful. And if you didn't watch this last podcast, I sat down and had a discussion with Edward Monge, who is the founder and owner of Triangle Multimedia. And Ed's a great guy, and he's a filmmaker, and he's been documenting a series of interviews with several experiencers, one of which is Nate Rudd, who's a friend of the show, has been on the show, and he talked about his experiences, which are really profound Bigfoot experiences with him. Ed also interviewed Ken Gerhard, whom I mentioned is going to be doing that cryptozoology course. And so, it's just a fantastic discussion with Ed, and we had a great time. I will say, watch for future episodes, because there's new episodes for the podcast, and the podcast is both audio and video. I do a audio podcast release first every Monday on all the platforms. If you've got a cell phone, whether it's Android or iPhone, just turn it on and look for the little icon that looks like a pod. It says podcasts. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like down here somewhere. Whoops, down here. It's a purple one. And this is an iPhone. So you can click that and do a search for Paranormal Portal, whether it's Android or iPhone, or on your favorite platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher, CastBox, Pandora, dozens and dozens and dozens of different platforms. Wherever you find podcasts that you listen to, do a search for Paranormal Portal. You'll find it. If you like the shows that you're listening to on the podcast, please leave a review. Like if you listen on iTunes, leave a review. If you don't like the show, never mind.
Yeah, go somewhere else.
I only want positive reviews. But we really appreciate that endorsement, because I know I use reviews when I'm looking at things. And so that's where your comments and likes also help for these live streams, that, it lets people know, hey, this is, worth watching. Somebody took the time to like it and to leave comments. So if you watch the shows and you like them, please, help me spread the word. I don't advertise the shows yet. So what?
Taipan on Rumble, $10. Says, Brent, really enjoying being part of the portal. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Aw, thank you, Taipan. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Taipan.
Really appreciate that. Be safe, Taipan. Taipan's been dealing with some storms in their area. Some pretty sketchy stuff going on there. So please be safe, and our prayers are with you, brother. And I guess that's gonna about wrap it up. Tommy Cooper's in tonight. Good to see you, brother. Tommy Cooper is one part of Cryptovania, which is another great show. If you guys get a chance, check it out. Tommy's a great guy. Been a longtime friend of the show. I used to have Cryptovania TV, which was on any Roku device, and he would showcase some of our episodes there. It's really great. So thank you guys for that. But we love you, Tommy. Thanks for coming in, brother. It's great to see you. And that's going to about wrap it up for us, right? Tonight, Sheldon, then? Anything in closing?
Well, just gonna do the usual, guys. Don't forget paranormalportal.net. The best way to stay up to date on all the new shows and to get your own interview there as well. And also, don't forget. Well, I mean, guys got some great experiences. Go ahead, share your experiences.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we got discord.gg/paranormalportal. Feel free to join the community. And a new addition to Discord is the Paranormal Art Gallery. If you guys, any artists out there, want to share your awesome drawings and any kind of art that you guys do, thank you, Rachel, for the suggestion.
Oh, cool.
But
Very
there's
good.
a new discussion page there.
Excellent. I didn't notice that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I made it in the middle of the show.
Oh, really? Like just now? It's today old. Okay, that's why I didn't.
Literally like 30 minutes old.
That's why I didn't know about it. And Brooks, great to see you again. Glad you made it back. We've missed you, and hope everything's been wonderful in your world. But again, send your prayers and love to Deb for a fast recovery. We love and miss having her around. So again, she's been in the hospital for a ruptured appendix and a couple surgeries. So send her your love and prayers and light and all the positivity you can manage.
Absolutely.
And wonderful to have Portal Mom in tonight. I don't know if she's still with us, but it's great to see you, Mom. Love you and I miss you. And Sheldon, thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the show tonight.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure, my boy.
Always a pleasure as well.
And thank all of you for being here. It's a rare pleasure to do these shows, but it's even more incredible that so many of you guys show up and take part in it. I know that you hear this stuff probably all the time online, but I couldn't be more sincere that it's incredibly amazing to me, because I'm literally just an idiot with a microphone. I literally am just some guy that had an idea. But the fact that you guys come and spend that time with me and hang out and have these discussions is just amazing. So thank you all for your love and support and for helping to keep the ball rolling and let people know about the shows. I really appreciate it. So sorry for my incredible randomness tonight, but hope that was okay. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. Justin Sane says, Paranormal Portal, we love you all. Thank you, man. That's wonderful.
That's right.
All right. Well, anyway, enough of that. Hope you guys have a great night. I hope you will come back tomorrow night. It'll be just me and all of you. So I'd love to have you here as we dive into another journey into the Paranormal Portal. Until then, remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Good night.
Roll the credits.
Woo!